please share the information provided in this video. Always remember that a crucial part of removing a person's confusion is understanding his or her unique source of it. Is God a mass murdering dictator? He created a Jewish nation and then promptly told them to drive out the Canaanite peoples. Deuteronomy 20:16. However, in the cities of the nations the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, do not leave alive anything that breathes. Completely destroy them. The Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, as the Lord your God has commanded you. Otherwise they will teach you to follow all the detestable things they do in worshiping their gods, and you will sin against the Lord your God. 1 Samuel 15, starting in verse 1. Samuel said to Saul, I am the one the Lord sent to anoint you as king over his people Israel, so listen now to the message from the Lord. This is what the Lord Almighty says. I will punish the Amalekites for what they did to Israel when they waylaid them as they came up from Egypt. Now go attack the Amalekites and totally destroy all that belongs to them. Do not spare them. Put to death men and women, children and infants, cattle and sheep, camels and donkeys. Notice that in the 1 Samuel verse, God commands the Israelites to kill even the children and infants. Baby murder. God commanded the Jews to kill all the Amalekite babies. Few things are as obviously evil to us as this. But if we criticize God for this commandment, we are letting Him off easy. God has far more than this to answer for. Babies don't die only when Israelites come and kill them. According to the Save the Children Foundation, 1 million babies die every year on the day they are born. This is nothing compared to the infant mortality rates of the past. According to John Shook, before modern medicine, 20% of children died in England and the U.S. before the age of 5. In fact, absolutely everybody has died or will die. This is called the oh no factor. Incredibly, even Jesus Christ died. You would think that God Incarnate would at least escape the same horrible end that we all face, but nope. So the real question is, why does anybody ever die? Why does anything bad ever happen? If you or I were Superman, we would stop natural disasters and constantly go do super things to save people from pain and suffering. God, the ultimate Superman, clearly does not do this. But that is precisely why the situation is so different for God. God is all-powerful. For God to do all that He can do to stop evil, He must delete human freedom from existence. If not, then we would still be free to do bad things. What surprises me is that atheists take their greatest joy in their freedom to believe what they want and choose to live how they want. But their favorite reason to disbelieve in God is that He's not taking away that freedom. The book of the Bible which completely dedicates itself to this problem of evil is Job. At the end of the book, the solution given is that God is so far beyond us, He may indeed have morally justifiable reasons for evil to exist. You can imagine a parent who does things to a child which the child hates and sees no purpose in, but the parent still has good reasons for doing so. The book of Job also contains a debate between what would have at that time been great thinkers from all over the known world. The question they debate is whether or not life is fair. Does God indeed pay us back for doing evil or good? Far from declaring intellectual debate a bad thing, God proclaims Job's arguments the winner. Job's point was that life is not fair, and if we are honest, it's not. Does a pro football player who makes $800,000 a year really equal 40 men who make $20,000? But if you want a world where human freedom exists, then it can never be fair. Imagine, if you were to steal somebody's bed, come home and magically find your bed missing and the stolen bed back where you stole it from. In a world where bad actions always get immediate repayment, no one would really ever be bad. But in our world, you just might get away with it. And you may not be rewarded for doing good things. It is only in this world that you or I live out who we are inside. It is when we see our inner selves lived out that we really face who we are inside. This is exactly the point Paul makes in Romans, but I need to move on. By far the most terrible answer to this question is the one given by William Lane Craig. I greatly admire Craig, and I usually agree with him, but he resolves this issue by saying that if a child dies before a certain age, then the child goes to heaven no matter what. The problem is obvious. Why not kill all babies? Hell is obviously much worse than death as an infant. If you kill them, they'll just go straight to heaven. If you don't, then there's a chance they'll go to hell. Now, let's review this issue from the top. God commands the Hebrews to commit genocide, but that's simply part of His master plan. In God's master plan, we are all going to die. It's just a matter of when and what purpose our deaths serve. Would you or I be justified in committing genocide because of our master plan? Absolutely not. God has a master plan that takes into account every event of all time. Because we have no such understanding, then we cannot enter into such decisions. God actually gives us His reason for driving out the Canaanites. I'll give it to you in a nutshell. God creates the world. Humans commit first evil. God promises that evil will be defeated through a son born to the woman. God reveals to Abraham that his son will become a nation through which this promise will be fulfilled. Thus, the existence of a political nation becomes essential to whether or not evil will be defeated. For whatever reason, because of the promises God has made, Israel must exist. Thus, if they simply lose their distinctive identity and merge with the religious views of the Canaanites, then there will be no Israel, and God's promise to defeat evil has failed. I hope you found this video informative and enjoyable. Thank you for your time.